What is up, everybody? Welcome to the good old Angry American fiasco here. We're missing Emery tonight. He's on a plane having to do stuff, but we have, as always, Sue LaRue and T with us, Mr. Bob Toombs of Mountain Readiness. And our special guest tonight, which we haven't got to talk yet, man. I came in a little bit late. I had guests show up. I didn't anticipate being here, and I had to run them off. But we got TD here with the Texas boys, and I know your son's out doing other stuff, but at least we got you here tonight, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us on tonight. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So you guys, so everybody gets to understand who you guys are and what you do. You guys run a homestead and a YouTube channel, and you put out great videos because I've been watching a bunch of them this week. So let everybody know kind of like who you guys are, what you're up to, and then we'll get into other fun stuff.
So we're a family of 8. We strategically relocated to Texas almost 10 years ago now, with the intention of living a more intentional life. Before we moved, we were kind of preppers. I mean, we stored food in buckets and different things like that. But we left the Northeast because it was just not friendly to humans. And we wanted a nicer climate. We loved Southern hospitality. So we relocated down here. We kind of hit the reset button, started over again, started learning agrarianism, agriculture, like husbandry. And so now we have a small cattle herd. The boys started the YouTube channel as a hobby, and that started funding their different entrepreneurial ventures. So now we have a website where we sell our homestead products, and we network with other local providers and homesteaders. And then just recently, we started selling our beef and pork locally. So we just continue to expand. And our intention and hope was that we could continue to accrue property and that our family would grow in a legacy way. Like, we developed the concept of, rather than giving your children an inheritance when you die, what if we could work it out logistically where we could give them that legacy while we were alive and then help them develop it. So that's kind of our like end game strategy. We're incredibly blessed, and we just wanted to take advantage of all the opportunities that we have. And so we homeschool them, we train them and teach them, and they're in turn continuing that cycle. We were very burdened to raise the next generation because the current generation, unfortunately, are a bunch of idiots and pink-haired whatevers. So we're trying our best to fight the culture war.
And that's what it takes, is everybody doing whatever they can,
Yeah.
And I like the idea, anybody who's willing to get more or closer to the source of your food, your water, all your stuff. Like Sue raises cattle. T's got a place up in the mountains of North Carolina. We all live out. None of us live in urban areas by any stretch of the imagination. So how many head of cows do you have now?
So right now, I think we have about 20.
Oh, wow. How many are you running, Sue?
I've got 4 heifers and 1 bull. So I didn't even know I had a bull until kind of peed out of the middle. So I
went to milker and
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with a Brahma bull. My wife thinks it's cute, and I say, yeah, it's cute for about 6 months, and then we got to figure out how we're going to get it back into a trailer and get it out of here. So.
Bands, man, put bands on that thing now and get it over with. Band him up.
Yeah, and then the rest of the heifers are Angus, and we kind of stumbled into it. I think what we're going to try to do is do the block of straws, where my wife's a vet tech, and we're going to try to do the artificial insemination instead of having bulls and worrying about people getting hurt or animals getting hurt, things like that. We're gonna try to build our herd off of these 4 heifers, mostly Angus Brahma mix type thing. Shorter legs, good for the mountains here in North Carolina. I'm from Texas originally, but a lot of the Texas cattle up here just don't do too well. They don't do too well in the humidity up here. The humidity is quite a factor up here in the southeast. You find the same thing down there in Texas? You got a lot of humidity to deal with.
We have, we're Northeast Texas. We have an enormous amount of humidity. We're running right now. We're running Longhorn, and because we wanted to preserve that. And if you like my shirt, we sell swag and merch on our website. And
pitch it all, man. That's what you're here for. So yeah, we're gonna definitely put your links up and all that good stuff too. But anything you got to pitch, send it out anytime.
This is all part. So what happened is the boys started a YouTube channel, and it was just kind of like a homesteading thing. And then we started speaking a little more reality stuff and talking about, everything, the grand theft world that's been going on for the last 3 or 4 years. And the channel exploded for about 3 months, and we went from 30,000 subs to about 100,000 subs. Wow. And then we started getting strikes and started the whole shadow ban thing. Mm-hmm. And but that 3-month period, we generated quite a bit of revenue. And so they took all of that revenue and they bought their mobile sawmill. And that's what kind of lined us up for these different businesses we've started. And we wanted the website to continue to monetize. So as we move to different platforms, and what we've recently done is we just started the Fearless podcast. So that's pushing out to all the different podcatchers as an attempt to circumvent the technocracy of all this fun, awesome, technocratic, archy stuff going on.
Yeah, when the state decides that you're now an undesirable and the way they treat you. So yeah, it's a sad world we live in. I don't know if you guys were watching the news today. I mean, it came out now that DOJ has proof that Hunter and Biden received $20 million in payments from China. Nothing's happening. Nothing's going to happen. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Andy No. Do any of you guys know who he is?
Yes.
So Andy is a independent journalist. He's gay. He's Asian. Antifa hates him. He was pretty severely beaten on video back in 2020, I think it was, and he sued the people that did it to him in Portland, and the jury just sided with his attackers, with their attorney telling the jurors, "I'll remember your faces, and I am Antifa." Even though all this was on video, it was all filmed. There was no denying that it happened. But it just goes to prove where we're at in the world, that if you're of the wrong political affiliation or thinking, you cannot get a fair shake now in the country. And I feel bad for like your sons that are, you got a big family bringing these kids up in this world, and it's not the same view on the horizon that we had when we were growing up.
No, and that's part of the whole hijacking of society. The way you finish off the Constitution and undermine it is you just have the ruling class, the district of criminals, and as long as you allow them to parade an open view of the average American, and they literally get to do whatever they want unabated, there is no rule of law. So, we might as well have anarchy. So that's really the burn for the, they want to upset the balance of power on our side, among the civilians to create, their own color revolution that these George Soroses and Cambridge Analytica's, the kind of stuff they do with the social manipulation.
Oh yeah, have you ever read the book Spetsnaz before? Sue, you ever read Spetsnaz by Suvorov?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah. You should look that one up, TD. It's Suvorov is one of the highest ranking Russian officers to ever defect, and he was over their Spets. He was in that world. And he was debriefed here in the U.S. And I actually got to talk to the guy that debriefed him. It was pretty cool. But he wrote a book laying out how Russia would take America down. And they're just checking boxes. I mean, we're marching along their program. They have what they call white, pink, and red phases. And we're deep in pink phase at the moment, with white being the benign things. And then pink, more stuff starts happening. Red is when we're actually in full conflict. And we're well on our way to the red phase of that. And I highly recommend you read it. It's a good book. So, and there we go. There's the Texas Boys website. Very nice.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, guys, hit them up and get up some of their cool merch. I had something I want to ask you, Sue, that came across. Did you guys see what happened in Utah today?
No, I did not.
So a 75-year-old guy was supposedly posting some "I'm going to kill somebody in the White House" on social media. The FBI decided this was a credible threat, went to his house and shot and killed him today. So that's interesting. Kind of funny that, Trump's being indicted for election fraud, essentially. They're prosecuting the Republican electors in Michigan for election fraud. It's just been revealed that the state of Michigan has been hiding a massive voter fraud investigation going on in their state that proves there was major voter fraud. The FBI has even looked at it and dismissed it and said, we're not going to touch it. And then you look at back in the summer of love that we had a couple of years ago, when people like Pelosi and Maxine Waters were all out there calling for people to be punched in the face and assaulted to start all this violence. And it's okay for them to say all those things, but then people like Trump and this old fella in Utah and any of the January 6th protesters that were rolled up and arrested and been locked away. When you counterpose those against what happens to people on the left, we realize we're obviously now in a two-tier justice system, and we are not the chosen ones. So it really makes you reevaluate how you start approaching things and considering things. At least to me.
Yeah.
Well, and let's not mention that he was 75. I don't know that
weighed 300
pounds
pounds and walked with a cane. Okay.
Yeah, he's not an operator anymore. He's not going to do a whole lot.
Yeah,
most likely.
No, and their first contact with him too was no one went to the house and knocked on the door and said, "Hey, can we talk to you about these posts?" It was SWAT team showed up. That was the first
straight
thing.
Waco, kick the door and burn it down.
Yep. So it's it's funny that in totalitarian states and what we call banana republics and things like this, when you criticize the leader, you get killed. I mean, granted, this is only one guy right now, but with everything else that's going on, we got to look at it in totality, and it's not a good it's not a good omen for us.
Yeah, and with all the signature reduction and all the online shenanigans, we don't even know if the guy actually posted anything or not. He could have just been a sacrificial lamb for the agenda,
Oh, yeah.
Let's just make a point. I mean, it's mafia style.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe maybe subscribe to the Texas Boys or Angry American podcast and like, oh yeah, need to take that guy out.
Well,
they're
then,
not fans of mine. I know that for.
And before we came on, T was mentioning it. The how AI has gotten so sophisticated that it's pretty scary. I mean, our good friend Byron Russell needed a promo voice, and Byron is he's agnostic. He doesn't read the Bible at all. Just to irritate him, I sent him a recording of my voice in reading the first page of the Bible, and it was absolutely amazing how they could take that voice, his AI program that he bought. He could take my voice, and there's not one word in that first page of the Bible had anything to do with guns or muzzle velocity or things like that. But now my voice sounds like a very professional promo for an assault rifle.
NRA.
Yeah, and it's amazing how you listen to it. It sounds exactly like me, but as we were saying, now somebody could take what the one page that I gave to Byron Russell, and they could make it sound like I'm doing some kind of a movement towards the government and things like that, and I'd be arrested and in jail overnight. They'd play that on CNN, and there's all the proof that everybody needs. I'm already convicted, and the keys thrown away.
Done deal.
Yeah,
I've been saying for several years now that, and this is before AI even got to where it is at this point. I don't know if you guys recall, a few years ago, the deep fakes were coming out. Deep fake videos are all a thing. You're seeing it being talked about everywhere. And it's because the powers that be always like to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. I don't know why that's a thing, but they always do tell us what they're going to do before they do it. So now we're in the world where we have the ability to deep fake things. And it's very, very hard to determine what's fake and what's not. So we remember that the NSA vacuums up all the data, any message you send, any phone call you make, any text, email, DM, whatever you send, they vacuum it up into the fusion centers. And like Sue's just saying, now they've got AI algorithms that can take your voice and make you say anything they want. They have the same thing on the video side. They can recreate you with AI, and it's going to be you saying onto camera whatever the hell it is they want you to say. So they essentially have the ability to manufacture evidence against you at this point, which to me is more terrifying than anything. I mean, because we already know we're not going to get a fair shake in courts, and they're going to show up with this evidence that's irrefutable. You know,
what's even more terrifying is that we're just now seeing this. You know that they've had this for plenty of time before it ever came to our doorstep. So let's think about the past 10 years, maybe longer, of things that we have all watched on the telly that could have been, manufactured. Some of these videos I was watching just today, people are playing around with AI, and they had a comet in the video hitting the moon, and it was blowing up. And I mean, it looked real. I was like, good grief, it's scary. So yeah, 10 years, maybe we've been watching stuff that was manufactured.
Well, we've got another guest now. Matt showed up. What's up?
Yeah, I showed up. How y'all
Welcome
doing?
to the show. We're good, man. How you doing?
Howdy.
Good. Just put in a full day's worth of work, and Dad was like, I think you're going to be running a little. He said the podcast starts at 7, and he told me last night it started at 8. So
8 Eastern.
8
Well,
Eastern.
it
That's
doesn't.
It's that pesky time zone thing.
got home.
Damn time
Sure,
zones.
But I like how he started this off. Put in a full day's work. That's uncommon these days, man. That is uncommon these days. I got some around here that just won't even put in a 5 days work.
Yeah.
I wish they would put in a full day's work, half a day's work. Somewhere.
It's fleeting. It's not too often.
I just saw this thing on Twitter a little bit ago, and I'm going to read this to you guys exactly as this tweet says. Peruvian TV is saying that there was an alien attack there and many injured and dead. Videos and pictures forthcoming. And that wouldn't even surprise me if it was true. Like, I said the other night, you could call me and say, dude, I'm watching a dragon crawl out of a hole in the ground right now. And I'd be like, what color is it?
I seen that video earlier today.
Yeah. I saw that one.
Now that you mention it.
So what kind of hard work were you up to today, Matt?
Well, we were installing a about 120 foot of porch railing, and then we had to paint it all. So that's why I have paint on me still.
That'll get it done.
Yeah, but the heat is definitely woo. Yeah, white on white. There you go.
White on white.
So, I was like, man, he's a little ashy. Somebody need to get that guy some lotion, some lanolin, But now it makes sense.
Oh man,
I used to love it.
Yeah,
said they hated painting. I used to be a painting contractor, and when people were like, I hate to paint. I was like, it sounds like money to me. I'm good with it. Don't bother me none.
That's true. Yeah. Well, the thing was, we blew up one of our paint sprayers. And then we went out and we got another one, and then it started acting all funky. And I'm like, oh crap, I got all this railing to paint. So I started painting it by hand. And then we went back a couple times to the hardware store, and they were like, you should do this or that to the paint sprayer, and maybe it'll fix it or whatever. And we did, and it actually worked. And it saved me hours and hours of trying to do that by hand.
Fine mesh bag, and you put that in the bucket, and you pour your paint in first. I'm sorry, then put that in the bucket of paint. Nozzle that's a trick to keep you from having to turn that tip and blow the crud out of it. So, damn it, man. So we were talking to your dad a little bit, and he said that you and your brothers actually started the YouTube channel. So we want to hear you, what was your impetus, and two, as the next generation, you're behind us, coming up, and it's uncommon to find someone your age that thinks like we do. So I want to hear from you about what made you do that, and how do you see your potential future in this country right now?
Absolutely. I started the YouTube channel not as a business. I started as just pure fun. Just wanted to document our family's life and things like that. 3 years ago, as a family, we sat down and we were like, what do we want to do with this whole online YouTube realm? What do we want to do? Do you want it just to be you know, a little side hobby, or do you want to actually turn it into a business? Or do you just want to quit and just go get a 9-to-5 job, you know, cog in the machine type of job? And I said, no, I think I didn't actually say no right away. I actually just thought about it for several days, and, you know, and nothing really happened and came up that was telling me, you know, yeah, you should go ahead and stop it. So I was like, you know what, you know, and we were getting some good momentum. So we just started right then and there. I was like, okay, I'm going to go full into making this a business. So I think it was 2 years ago, we made our own online website. So we built it all of us brothers. And then we just started scaling from there, adding all the several different types of products that we sell on the website, from our raw unvaccinated honey, our large coffee line that we sell that is from a local coffee roaster that's 30 minutes away from our house. We got our organic CBD coffee and our lion's mane coffee and candles and bulk tea. And now we just added on to that with our whole butcher shop on the website, and that's actually where we sell local beef and pork to people that are within driving distance to us. But what I'm very entrepreneurial, so I wanted to get after it, and I don't see enough young people actually taking advantage of that, of their youth. And it's a blessing that God has given every young person. They all have it, and it's that kind of endless energy that you have. You know, you finally do get tired at the end of the day a little bit, but you do have way more energy. And
we know. Trust me, we know. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, and it's
just listening to you talk is making me tired currently.
Yeah,
I'm getting sleepy.
You know, we like to say that, you know, youth is wasted on the young. You guys have all this energy and the ability to do everything, but you know nothing. You're smarter than the average when cutting this cloth. I'm gonna give you credit, because just listen to you. Like earlier when you said, I was trying to decide if I just wanted to get a job. You know what job stands for, right? JOB. Just over broke. Yeah, that's where you'll stay your whole life if you work a job. So
that's true.
I've told my kids this. They don't listen to me, but this is what I've told them: find another way. Go find your way. Go make your way.
Absolutely.
And now you're not, you know, in the drudgery of life. You know, like how are you, Matt?
18.
Okay, so you know, the dichotomy of life. This is something that I figured out many years ago. It's that, like, the best years of your life are from the day you're born to the day you graduate high school. You really have no cares, concerns. Mom and dad are taking care of everything. You're just there to have fun. All right, you might go to college another 4 years, but if you do go to college, you're probably going to start incurring debt right then at 18 years old. You know,
yeah.
And so you got 4 years of college. You get out of college. Now you got to get a job. You got to get a place to live. Debt, more debt. You got to get a car, more debt. And you're going to take a job with a company that you have no familial ties to, no tribal ties to. They don't care about you. You don't care about them. And they're not going to pay you what your time is worth. You're going to do
and
this.
then you try to get married on top of that. I mean,
then you got to go sign that really bad contract.
Yeah.
You're going to do this for 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And you're going to live for 2 days a week and 2 weeks a year. And that is how your life is laid out for you. So here's someone at your age, 18, saying, no, that I'm going to try.
Breaking the cycle. Yeah.
And that's, more people need to do that. So that's highly commendable, man. Really is.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And our goal and hope with accumulating the land and the dirt is to that living legacy, to provide that land and opportunity to our children so that they can start debt free, building their own places to live. And this way they're starting ahead of everybody else without debt. And
I call it our family empire. I really like calling it that, because that's really what it is. It's generational wealth that we're building, you know, and we're building this legacy that, you know, I was thinking even today while working my butt off, I was like, you know, just imagining what, like, either my kids and my great grandkids will not have to go through. You know, they will still have to work, of course, but, you know, the things that they're going to be able to do is going to be absolutely incredible, Lord willing, if we're here that long. But so we talked about this on the Fearless podcast that we run, and that comes up all the time. Is there any hope left for America? I think there's a lot of people that focus on the doom and gloom, and it's all going to crap, and it is. But also on top of all of that, there is so much stinking opportunity. It's quite incredible, but you have to pull your head out of the sand and look at the big picture, So, and I don't think enough young people do that. I've been hanging around several young people over the past year, and it's really sad what they just really don't know anything. And I can't really even talk to them because they don't know anything, and it's so sad. So that's really, we started a young men's course because I wanted to start passing on this knowledge to other young men, and start training them up for this next generation of young men that we are going to need to keep this country alive. So
that's awesome. I threw that comment up right there because Christy here in the comments, she's a sweetheart. We know her well. And she said that she'd love to have, like, you mentoring her son on this kind of thing. And then you turn right around and say, we've already started a program for that. So, Christy, there you go.
Yeah. Yep. And we are on our fifth week of the men's course. And it's a membership. They come on, the young men come on. We have our whole program. You get a live consultation deal. We all sit down. We talk about how your week went. And then we write out your goals and your plans and everything like that. And it's really cool. And I absolutely have been loving it. And I think it's going to be coming up pretty soon. We're actually going to be 2 weeks.
This is the last week, Sunday, and then it should reopen.
And then we're going to be opening it back up in 2 weeks. So, yep.
That's awesome. I mean, that's really awesome to see. Go ahead, T. I thought you had
you're good. I was just flabbergasted. It's great to see youth in this day and age who are, picking up and doing things like this. What you said, Chris, with the job, what that stands for. What you guys are doing is what the American dream is supposed to be, and that's what it was many generations back.
Yeah,
in this day and age, we've been indoctrinated that the American dream is when you get out of school, you go into debt so that you can, get a degree and then end up a Starbucks barista later on after your degree, and then go into more debt on a house and then pay 3 to 4 times that amount after it's all said and done with your interest. You guys are breaking that chain. That's the enslaved. We're enslaved at this time in America. And it's great to hear, that there's still people out there doing what you guys are doing.
Russ just said something and it made me think is it would be awesome to, do you go anywhere and speak? Do you ever do events where you speak about these kind of things?
We would, we've been asked to speak at different events. Yeah.
As I said, because we have Mountain Readiness coming up in October, and it would be awesome to see you guys there.
That'd be
a new
awesome.
event. This is a new thing that T started, and we work with him. We've only had one event. October will be our second one. The first one went great. T didn't lose his ass. He which is fantastic when you're starting something like that.
Which is
and for that, let's run a quick promo for it. We'll come right back and continue this. I just want to get a Mountain Readiness promo out there for everybody so they remember to buy their tickets.
Awesome.
Send it. Let me see. All right.
Or not.
Russ. Well, I told him to have it ready.
Maybe.
He was supposed to have it ready.
Technology.
Yeah. Well, Russ, do we have it? Or he might have. Is Russ frozen? Well, I'm gonna have to look for it now, and I wasn't ready because I thought he was gonna go grab it for me. Hang on a minute.
Walk through it.
There it is. I got it.
Hey, folks, this is T, and this is Mountain Readiness.
It doesn't matter what the event is that makes this thing go pop. It's going to be water, shelter, fire, food, security. That's it. That's what you need in a nutshell.
There we go. That's the event right
there.
there.
It is.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we know Mike.
Yeah.
The
And if you guys can come, that'd be great. Let us know. Of course, Mike Dixon, he lives only 2 hours from us. We've done a lot of collaborating with Mike and his family. Great people. We had of course, Josh Stony Ridge Farmer was there as well. Among Chris and quite a few others. Alan Kay, we had Alan Kay there. So to add to that, we'll announce it here before anyone else. We will actually have Bear Independent there this October, which is phenomenal. So you heard it here first, folks. Bear Independent will be there on site, and we're going to do some fundraising for Caleb House to help him out with that.
Yes, we are. Looking forward to that. That's going to be actually pretty cool to have him there the whole time. We were hoping he was going to be able to make it, at least an appearance, but he's going to be able to be there and hang out the whole time. And Bear's not far from you guys. He's just up in Oklahoma. So
okay, awesome.
Bear's very, very deeply involved in the human trafficking thing. And he started a nonprofit called Caleb House, where they actually pick up these kids that have been trafficked and then provide them a place to live, and some mentorship and everything else until they can get sorted out where to go. And it's a safe place, their security is extremely high to the point where we don't even know exactly where this place is. So, because we don't need to know. But
that's great.
He's a great guy, and you guys probably have a lot to talk about, actually. So
yeah,
definitely well-rounded too. Homesteads, the whole bit. Not just the kicking doors and taking names. He's active in survival and homesteading and bushcrafting and the works. That's a well-rounded individual, to say the least. So,
yes, he is. Absolutely. So I'm just checking comments here real quick. Will we be? What are you thinking for next year, T, for the next one for next year?
Yeah, so we've got some graphics to come out here soon. The next big mountain readiness, we're just going to be doing them the first weekend of May moving forward. We plan on doing it. So it'll be May, I think it's, second, third, fourth, I believe, whatever that first Friday, Saturday, Sunday is. In May, I don't have my calendar, but so that first weekend in May, we'll be doing the big mountain readiness event again. And then October, the third weekend of October is when we'll be doing that mid type of get together, which is the Angery American. We'll come up with another name for it. It's all out this time, just a spoof, but so yeah, May is the date tentatively.
Awesome. And I know we were talking earlier about some folks that are going to probably tag on to next year's event, so it should be way bigger.
Yeah. And I believe we've been working. I know Sue, and he'll be at this one doing tracking. We've got Troy's Gate just signed up coming out, which is, when it comes to mental preparedness, that place is a whole nother level. So a lot of great stuff, and quite a few that have never been out in the public mainstream as far as what they offer. So
it's going to be a good time. So Matt, as a young 18-year-old guy, I have one more question for you. This was kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
I would think for you, especially.
Yeah.
What is a woman?
Great question.
That's a good one.
My son, I was warning about this about 10 years ago. I'm like, we're going to get to a place in this postmodern, post-truth American culture where one generation won't know, like visibly, physically won't know.
Yeah.
And, that's a bad place to be.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And it's just the fact, we joke about the movie 1984 or the book, in the movie. I don't know if you guys all read it or not, but, Newspeak was a thing. And there's that one line in there where the one dude was like, just imagine in 10 years' time, the words won't exist for us to sit and have a conversation like this. And they thought that was a good thing.
Yeah.
And we're kind of in that world now, in that the meaning of words changes all the time. They're always changing the words, and then they'll change it and then accuse you of doing whatever the hell label they've applied to this new label they've applied to the word, and then expect you to defend yourself from the accusation. And the mere defense of the accusation implies guilt. and most people don't understand how the game is even played, and they get stuck in it. So, oh yeah, that's right. We're gonna throw this up too, because at Mountain Readiness, for you guys watching that don't know, we will be having free ham radio testing. So if you want to get your ham license, you can come take it for free. Definitely come hang out for that. Sue, you're being awful quiet, man. Are you feeling better?
Yeah, I'm starting to feel better. I'm really interested in what they have to say here. I've got a young man at my house, 18 years old. Of course, I pulled him out of school and homeschooled him here in North Carolina due to the critical race theory that was being shoved down his throat. And just went from one night, we had this, half of his football team over at our house, and everybody's having a good time and everything. And then the next night, they were racially divided, thanks to their teacher. All the black kids up to the front of the class and making the rest of the class apologize to him. And I was like, okay, that's enough. Time to leave there and everything.
Yeah.
But, we mentioned the the book Spetsnaz and the author of the Spetsnaz, but what he warned America about in the 80s is come completely true. It's come completely full circle since the Clinton administration. We are in an insurgency. And he talked about those 5 things that the Soviet Union was trying to do to the United States, and they got Ronald Reagan came in and kind of defeated them economically. Yeah. But you got religion, number one. So do the Chinese have religion, or if young men at 18 now say, hey, I'm going to church, or I'm going to go preach to my youth class, they're pretty much ostracized from the rest of their friends. And then the second thing is education. And if a young man is proud of having straight A's and B's and stuff like that, he gets ostracized. And then you got your authoritative figures and your media and things like that, but mostly your media and your social media. And we all know how the social media has just been taken over by just complete hogwash. And then you got your authoritative figures and your local government. And I don't see hardly any men. T and I were just at a local event. We thought it was going to be a lot bigger than it was. It was basically Christian Reagan, a congressman, is going to be running here in North Carolina for Congress. And what do we have there, T? Maybe 14, 15 people showed up, and none of them.
Maybe 20 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And none of them were younger than 40. I think 40 was probably the youngest person there. And I think that's really sad, because when I was young, we would really get involved in our local elections, and we would know who the sheriff was going to be and who the county commissioners were going to be. And politics starts locally. And if we could get our youth back interested in, taking over their local politics, and it would just cascade into state politics and federal politics, I think.
Well, that's why we are where we are right now, because the left did that. They understood that if we start infiltrating at the local level, it will naturally build upon itself. Like here in Florida, our governor just dismissed an attorney general for Central Florida for what they call it, dereliction of duty, for not prosecuting cases against criminals that deserve to be prosecuted and just let them slide. He just canned her. And of course it's because she's black, but that's not why. I mean, they laid it out why she got canned, and it's because is that Soros coddle the criminals approach thing that seems to be so popular these days, which goes right along with what Sue was just talking about with the insurgency that's running here. The rise in crime is intentional. These things are all intentional to try to collapse the system. Anybody who doesn't think of trying to collapse this right now is out of their minds.
Well, and I think what they're doing, what these guys are doing down here in Texas is phenomenal. Especially if you're going to make a YouTube, use the media or the medium to YouTube channels and things like that, and your cell phones, and get after these young guys, because I think the disenfranchising of society is what the real goal is. Just make everybody just think, well, I'm thinking about my individual self, and not like Kennedy said, what can you do for your country? Think not what you can do for yourself or the government can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And I think that's what the young people got to grasp onto, and they got to think, okay, things aren't going good. Our parents and our grandparents are idiots, and they're self-centered, and they're narcissistic. We got to change that. And I think the youth that's where the opportunity is. They need to grasp that and turn that around.
Stop being so selfish.
Not only young men, but the young women too,
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were talking about at that event that we spoke at is, when we looked out there, not a single person under 40. We're literally one or maybe two at best generations away from this world being unsalvageable. I mean, I really feel that, what you're doing, young man, that's going to make or break this country.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and the young women is. I saw a quote yesterday. I think it was. Sorry, Russ needs to step away. I'm just telling him go have some fun. He's at a reunion with his Air Force buddies, and he's here hanging out with us. Go party, Russ. Go have fun. Get out of here. Go do your thing, bro. And it was a guy that was talking about his own sons, and he said that he realized that the problem with a lot of the young men in this country today is video games and pornography. That those two things just suck any motivation and drive out of them, because both of those two things are designed to keep you sitting on the couch or where the hell ever, not out doing, not out experiencing, not out living. And that makes us softer and weaker. Like you said, you're out in the heat today, Matt, putting up
all day
fence rail and painting. That's hard work. It's hot. It's miserable. It's not fun. It's not comfortable. But did you die?
Nope.
No. And you're better for it now than you were this morning when you woke up. You know what I'm saying?
And it was the biggest. Yeah, this was the biggest job I've sold, starting our construction business. Which was really exciting. Like, I've done dozens of jobs, but this has been actually the biggest one this year, which was really exciting.
So you got your own little construction company too, then?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I didn't tell you all that, but we started we started our own construction company, just us three brothers, this year, and we bought a company truck a week ago with our money. Like, I think that's kind of tricky for certain people when they look into our lives. I don't want people to think that like we have like a sugar daddy and like he gives us everything. Our dad like makes us work for everything, and everything you see, we've worked for it. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, their dad really just bought it. I'm like, no, seriously, like we do everything. He helps us if we want to know something or learn something. He's one of the first guys I go to, like, hey, Dad, what do you think about this? We're quoting this job or whatever, and this just popped up, But other than that, money wise, we try our hardest, to make all of our own money. And the Lord blessed us with a nice F-350 work truck, and I didn't have to get into debt, which was like awesome too.
And they have 3 trucks.
We have 3 trucks
and
now.
they own them all.
We own them all. Yeah. So debt free.
That's freaking awesome. Like,
that's amazing.
It's inspiring to hear, because you just don't see it or hear it too much today. No,
and
that's
the thing. Yeah.
Go ahead.
The thing that's so sad is that I don't have anything that, I'm not special, like more special than anybody else out there. Like, other kids, they all have the same opportunity. I started with the $20 bill, literally, little camera, literally us 3 brothers saved up with some lawn mowing money. And we went on to Amazon and got this super, super knockoff camera and started the whole YouTube channel. And then it just spiraled from there, snowballed, so it's not like, we were born with a silver spoon in our mouth. We migrated 2,000 miles to Texas, didn't know anybody. Dad made $30,000 his first year, beans and rice and beans, the happiest year of our life, pretty much. And we were playing in the mud, and I think people just, they get caught up in like, I have to have this big, gigantic, fancy house. I have to have this big, gigantic, fancy car, as soon as I get out of college. So I got to go into like $600,000 worth of debt. I want it now. right now, I call it the Amazon Prime lifestyle. They want it now, and they're not, with me, I'm like, I'm going to kind of live on the cheap when I'm young, save, get a good nest egg going, get some family banking going, get some good life insurance going. And then when I'm 40, 50, 60 years old, I'll start getting the things that I want, instead of getting them right now, and getting into debt.
And getting into debt. Yeah. And,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, no. Go ahead, T.
I can always tell when young people are homeschooled. It shines through. I was actually homeschooled, my siblings and I, for most of our younger days, and it's amazing that society, how they used to frown on homeschooling horribly. I can't count how many times we had social services called on us because we weren't in school, and that's another thing that locks us in this day and age is you're supposed to go to school, and at school we're going to gear you to be prepared for the workforce, which means you spend 8 hours of your day locked up in a prison and being indoctrinated with the things that we want you to do. What's amazing is that when you're homeschooled, you can get all your schoolwork done in about a quarter of the time, and then you can go have a job. Right? You can go work, you can do chores, you can do all these productive things, play musical instruments. And that's what people don't understand is when you send your children to school, not that if that's what you have to do, then go ahead. But if you really want to raise children to the point that they're self-sufficient and they're thinkers outside of the box, get them out of that public system, because right here in front of us, this is what it produces when you do that. You give them that opportunity.
Yeah, and the way the way you're doing it, the way you talked about setting it up and everything, that you talk about building generational wealth, which is, again, remember, that's colonizer talk. But it's also a really good way to avoid inheritance taxes. Like the way you guys are doing this is set up. It's not like dad's going to pass away and now we're going to give it to you. I'm sure you guys are smarter than that. You're going to have a trust or something in place long before that occurs. And it's that kind of thinking outside the box that will allow you to prevent the theft of so much of that generational wealth by the government.
Correct.
That's what it is. So
they love
you're building that stuff in now as you go, which is phenomenal. I mean, that's awesome. So let me just check in comments. Want to make sure we stay up to date. If anybody's got anything awesome in here. What do you guys have coming up, like on the horizon? Like you're obviously always thinking and planning. So what's your next thing?
Next thing is mainly just getting this podcast deal all figured out. YouTube really has just been killing us of lately. And, we get 1,000 views here and, 1,000 views here, 1,000 views there, whatever. And then even if I put a lot of work into a video, then it gets the same results, and it just really stinks. So we've been really seeing that there's been a lot of success with the podcast realm. So, and we have all the gear to do it, and we've already kind of been doing it, but let's just go ahead and fully commit into doing that. So then we started the Fearless podcast.
We're 5 episodes in, and now we're just trying to figure out our style and different format, how we want to do it. So that's one of them. One of the things.
Oh, we're still doing it here too. This is the 8th episode of this,
Okay. Cool. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, this is a brand new podcast too. I mean, people have been asking me for years to do one, and I never got around to it.
That's great.
I signed with a manager a couple of years ago, Holly, who's just awesome. And she's the one that's pushing me to get a lot of this other stuff going.
Great.
And I'm glad I did, because usually we got our other buddy Angery here, and Sue and T. We're all great friends, and we get to do stuff together on occasions. And it's just nice to be able to sit around and talk with like-minded people.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Everybody talks about the echo chamber, and I would say that we don't live in an echo chamber because we're rational enough that we'll actually listen to both sides of an argument, and we're not going to scream and shout you down if we disagree with your opinion. I'm a benevolent dictator. I'll look right at him and say, "You're entitled to your wrong opinion. Go with God. God bless you. Enjoy it. No hair off my back. I don't care. Whereas it seems like so much of today, like you just look at, I forget the NASCAR driver's name that just got canned from NASCAR because he liked a tweet. Like you're going to destroy somebody's life for something like that.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling. That's where we are as a society. That will
how many times
somebody.
have you put your phone? How many times have you put your phone in your pocket and liked some? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your phone will butt dial, do all these. You
Yes.
could stick your phone in your pocket and that could happen. I mean, it's so insane, and you're
not
gonna
even
like
that.
cancel somebody.
But not even that. The fact that he just said that's funny, and you have to, and you know,
Right.
granted, there's 3 sides to the George Floyd story, right? There's the left side, there's the right side, and then there's what actually happened.
Yeah.
And so and we know what actually happened. There was autopsies and video and all kinds of stuff. It's pretty obvious. When you're screaming at the top of your lungs, I can't breathe. You can breathe. I know that for a fact. I've tested that theory out. Because when you choke the shit out of them, they stop talking. But the fact that just it does work.
It works.
But the fact that it'll ruin your life, like you know, your future's dead. It's I don't know. It's disturbing.
The world is so topsy turvy. The whole thing. The world is topsy turvy. Good is bad. Bad is good. And half the time they make stuff up as they go too. I mean, it's gotten so insane. You know what really it blows my mind is, you know, 20 years ago, I remember clicking through and Jerry Springer pops up and they have transvestites and stuff like this on Jerry Springer. And people are just dogging them and screaming at them and all. And then now I mean, that's Jerry Springer. It was the bottom of the barrel show, you know, and how what people thought 20 years ago versus what people think today. I mean, 20 years is not that long of a period. And here we are. It's insane. No, I mean, it's upside down. It's backwards.
Hey, let's run.
But it's good to see that these young guys are saying that they can go out and they can learn they can use the skills that they have and their God-given talents.
Oh yeah,
they can break this mold and what I said about this education system that goes not only in public schools but goes into our next phase of learning, your college and universities too, and break that mold, because you're just going there, you're wasting your time, you're getting in debt. And what you should be doing is building your own businesses, using that time between your 18 and 21 and that's what I tell my son, use that time between your 18 and 21, learn a trade you can always fall back on.
Correct.
And he's the electrician's apprentice, and he's trying to do well on things. And but you need to learn those skills that you can always carry with you, no matter what the world does.
Advocating I'm not advocating at all for people to not go to college. Hey, if college is your thing, then by all means go to college. But there's something to be said. I myself, I quit the homeschooling thing when I was 15. I said, now I'm good. I'm going to work full time, and I did. I went to work full time, moved out on my own, traveled all over the place, and it just wasn't for me at the time. I went back, got a GED at 19, but I learned a trade. You know, in trades, I told both of my sons, I said, finish school, but at the same time, if you don't feel college is for you, then get into a trade, because that's what's lacking in the world today.
Mike Rowe,
absolutely.
Mike Rowe has
100%.
Hey, do you guys have to? We do another little show after this. We'll hang out for like another 30 minutes over on my Patreon on Rumble or Tumblr, or not Tumblr. What the hell is it?
Rumble.
I don't remember now. Rumble.
We have a Rumble channel.
Rumble. You guys have time to hang out for a little bit for that? Because I'm going to run a little promo for that. We'll do that real quick. We'll come back. We'll wrap this up, and then we'll jump over there. Because over there, we get a little looser. It's not YouTube. So.
Yeah.
When you're trying to talk common sense to a liberal, you're just wasting your time.
I love Sue's voiceovers.
Short, sweet, and to the point. Love it.
I love Sue's voiceovers.
It is. It was everything I'd ever hoped for, man. Sue, you're my idol. Like that voice. That voice. That's it.
Silky smooth when he lays it on.
That is.
I see why you have so many ex-wives, Sue.
No doubt. Let's get it on.
I know what a woman is because I paid years of child support. Yeah.
Sue was really good at marrying housekeepers for a while there. You know, he'd marry him and they'd keep the house, and he'd have to go buy another one.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
So, young man, this is what you are not. These are the things not to do. That's what we're looking for here.
Years ago, when I was,
if you would like to keep being prosperous.
When I was an advisor for the Iraqi commandos, they asked me. We were sitting around the burn barrel one winter night and everything, and trying to warm our hands. And they said, "What's the best job in America?" I said, "Well, let me think about that." I said, that's pretty easy. It's got to be ex-wife. That's the best job in America.
Well, then now and again, you get the perfect wife, which I have right now. My lovely wife Amber, and then she buys you cups like that, Yeah, only my wife.
I got a good one. I mean, I've only been married to her for 30. This will be 33 years in November, so
nice.
Well, that's all these young men need to realize that probably the most important decision you'll ever make in your life is who you spend the rest of your life with. So don't take
100%.
Do not take that lightly, and find somebody that not only get along with in the good times, but that you can actually have an argument with and not end up hating each other.
Yeah, when you start thinking you've met a girl you want to marry, and wait till the weather is just absolute shit, raining and cold and miserable, and take her camping. See how she behaves then. It's a good way to judge the character of the woman that you're wanting to spend the rest of your life with.
That's a good one.
Pour a piss out of a boot, and you just blue cold outside, and take her camping and see how that works out.
Yeah. And then on the first anniversary of meeting each other, take her to like McDonald's or something. Just be like, "Hey, sorry, I was," and then if she sticks with you, it's a keeper.
Yeah, that's good.
But no, it is. I mean, all seriousness of it is, I don't care how strong of a man that you are. If you pick the wrong mate, they will break you. I don't care how tough you think you are. They will destroy you. So they have that capability, and it's nothing against women. It's just if you pick the wrong one, you're gonna pay for it in more ways than one.
That's true.
That's what I told my dad. I was like, I way rather be single for the rest of my life than like have to be like married to somebody that I hate, So I'm definitely going to try to find the best one.
Even once you're married and you decide you hate them, get out as early as you can. Don't stick around. It's just, you're not helping nobody. So learn from mistakes and move on.
That's it. And plus, with you being homeschooled and doing what you're doing, and your father, has evidently raised you right, I'm sure, equating to 4:30 in the morning, kicking you out of bed. It's time to go do chores and that kind of sort of thing, which builds all that character. There's a saying, if you lie with dogs, you get fleas, right? Yeah. So stick around with the right people and you'll get the right mate and you'll have a good life.
Yeah. See, like Kat here says, he knew he had the right one when she started his truck when they were dating. That's how you judge a woman.
It's a keeper. That's a keeper, buddy.
And it was an automatic too. I mean, Well, guys, we're wrapping this up. Where can people find you? What do you guys got coming up? Where can we point people to look and find what you guys are doing?
Yeah, you can find us over. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can find us on The Texas Boys on YouTube, and then you can find us on our website, thetexasboys.com, if you want to support what we do here on the farm and what we're trying to promote here. That'll be thetexasboys.com. And then also go check out our new podcast that we just started, The Fearless Podcast. That's on pretty much all of the podcast outlets. So, yep.
What's the name of that podcast?
The Fearless Podcast.
The Fearless.
The Fearless.
Yeah.
I'm making a note too. I'm going to be.
Okay. Awesome.
I haven't listened to the podcast yet. I've been watching videos on you guys.
Okay. Great.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna cut this, And you guys can jump over to Tumblr through Patreon, and we'll be over there for a little while hanging out too. You guys know the deal. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. Hopefully we'll have Emery in here, and we'll have more guests, and we'll get that put up for you guys. We said it put up this time, but I got to check my notes. I don't even remember who it is yet at the moment. So anyway, you guys know the drill. Be good at it.